Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to today's episode, another beautiful day of working on the Corvette. As you guys saw in the intro, we are still cleaning up a little bit of things on the engine. Biggest thing is definitely the intake. I got a lot of the oil that was built up in there from over time and all around there as well, cleaned up. So we're going to be slapping that back on, as well as I got my new radiator in today. I did talk about possibly upgrading it, but after looking at some prices and availability, I went ahead and got a stock one for now. We're going to see how we do for a little while. And if I need to, I will go ahead and upgrade it at a later time. But for now, it was super easy to actually get a stock one from GM off of Amazon and with Prime shipping. So because of that, I went ahead and got that. That way we can just get this thing back on the road ASAP. And so that radiator is in. The lower core support, I didn't actually order a new one. I plan on building my own. This thing is also known as a skid plate. The core support and the skid plate are kind of built into one, and it's supposed to protect the lower part of your bumper. And from what I understand, these cars tend to actually bend those pretty often because of how low they sit. So I plan to actually build my own custom one. I'm mostly going to be focusing on building the core support for the radiator itself. I'm not too worried about protecting the bottom of the bumper, considering it's already broken, and it's going to be a drift car. So we're going to go ahead and get to work, and let's do this. Alright guys, so quick update, we got the intake back on. One thing I didn't film was replacing the little gaskets in between each intake runner underneath the manifold. I did get those replaced. We got brand new gaskets on there, so that way we're not running the old stuff with who knows how many miles on there. I'm assuming 150,000. So I went ahead and replaced those as well. Intake manifold is back on. The last thing I want to do gasket-wise is take care of the valve covers. I do have that one obviously ready to pull off. I just got to finish getting the coil packs off on this and then pull this valve cover off.
'Cause we're just animals.
Alrighty guys, so quick update. I'm actually getting the flanges for the EGR and air pump system welded up right now. As you guys can see in the video, I cut off the tubes that went to these flanges and welded them up. I want to show you two things that you may not have caught there in the video. This was the very first one that we ended up doing, and you can see I'm not too happy with how it looks. To be fair, it'll honestly probably function just fine. But the second one, I think I kind of started my welds more on the inside, and I really just started on one side, worked my way back, and then that allowed me to fill it in a lot more. And I believe this is going to be a much better sitting weld because it's more on the inside rather than around and building on top. So I'm going to actually grind this one back down. I'm going to re-weld it very similarly to how I did this one. But I'm pretty, like I said, this is kind of something I was experimenting with before. I've actually used a dime or a nickel to then weld onto this and cover these holes up before. But I'm actually really happy with how this one looks. It's obviously not super pretty, and it's not meant to be. It's really meant just to function and block that hole. So I'm going to go ahead, get down to grinding this one back down, and we're going to re-weld it just like the other one. We'll get those installed. That takes care of our EGR and air pump system.
The next day,
we got ourselves a new core support in. I said I was going to try and make a new one, but the original one was bent up so bad it was going to be hard for me to get the measurements that I needed to actually properly put the mounts for the radiator in the right spot. So I decided to go ahead and just spend the money and get a new one. New one is in, so we're going to actually go ahead and get this painted this morning because it came in an unfinished coat of just raw steel. And it's actually really light. I'm actually rather impressed with how light it is, but considering how light the original one is, I really shouldn't be too surprised, but we're going to go ahead and get this painted today. We'll get that slapped on. We've got the EGR covers installed, and we got a new PCV tube that I just got to finish putting on there. We're going to get this valve cover off and also replace the gasket on that and that side. Then we're going to slap the new intake on, which haven't gotten to that yet, but our good friend Trevor, shout out to you, man. Thanks for the great deal. He gave us a good deal on a VRAM intake for the Corvette, so we're going to be installing that in today's episode as well. So without further ado, let's get to it. forgot to film an outro for this, so you're going to be seeing a few things out of place because they're going to be a little bit ahead of the timeline, but this will actually be a little bit of a preview for you because I already have this stuff filmed for the next episode, so this will help you stay tuned, hopefully, for the next episode. But here we're at, closing out this video. As you can see, I actually got the new VRAM intake on and everything, and you're going to get a great shot of it right here as we're going to go talk about lower core support. Got the lower core support installed, new radiators also installed as well. Really happy with how the core support turned out. It's really cheap rattle can Rust-Oleum black paint, but even more importantly, I love the valve covers. I think they look phenomenal. I didn't spend a whole lot of time really making sure the paint came out good. You can see by the most obvious one from reviewing the footage is the filler neck here. You can very clearly see that, and it's the only really big thing. It's an eyesore, but I may go back and touch that up later. Other than that, there's your little sneak preview as I cover up the camera there with my hand. But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I made sure to try and fit as much content into this one as possible, and I'm going to try and do the same thing in the next one. That way I don't feel like these episodes aren't full of content that are worth actually watching for the 10 plus minutes you're watching my episodes. So again, thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to stay tuned. I got a lot of stuff coming for this car. We're starting to get the ball rolling. Biggest thing I'm waiting on right now is windshield. So as soon as we get that, we're gonna have even more content coming out with the Corvette. So make sure to like, comment, and more importantly, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks guys.